Welcome to the October All-America City Promising Practices webinar, Building a Culture of Healthy and Engaged Youth Leaders. My name is Rebecca Trout, and I am the director of the All-America City Awards program here at the National Civic League. The League is a 125-year-old nonprofit, and we aim to advance civic engagement to create more equitable and thriving communities. The All-America City Award is our flagship program, and it began in 1949 to recognize exceptional civic engagement in local governments. We recently recognized the 10 communities that you see here on your screen as our 2020 All-America City Award recipients. Congratulations to the 10 of those communities, and we'll actually be hearing from 2 of them, Rancho Cucamonga, California, and Danville, Virginia, later today. The 2021 All-America City Awards process will recognize communities that have worked to improve equity and resilience. To win, each community must demonstrate innovation, impact, equity and inclusiveness, civic engagement, and cross-sector collaboration by describing successful efforts that have adapted and transformed the community to make it more equitable and resilient. You will see our timeline for this year. We are in full swing for the 2020 All-America City Award process. The application is now live, and we are accepting letters of intent until December 1st. The letter of intent, while not required to apply, does save your community $100 off of the $250 application fee. Complete applications are due by February 10th. And now, without further ado, I want to get to the meat of the presentation. While the All-America City Award celebrates local accomplishments, we use these monthly webinars to actually share those accomplishments, innovative practices, and projects around the country. So today, we'll be hearing from 2 of our 2020 All-America cities. Rancho Cucamonga, California, will be talking about their HealthyRC Youth Leaders Program, and Danville, Virginia, will be talking about the Youth Health Equity Leadership Institute. First up, we are going to hear from the Rancho Cucamonga team. Joining us, we have Joanna Marufo, Management Aide for the City of Rancho Cucamonga. And then 2 of her youth leaders who are joining us are Amoha Bahale and Camille Allison Santos. And then followed by Rancho Cucamonga, we're going to hear from Danville, Virginia. We have Shawnee Gaylord, former YHELI program manager, Jasmine Smith, former coordinator, and Ziana Barton, a youth leader with the Danville program. A couple of housekeeping things before I hand it over to Rancho Cucamonga. The webinar is being recorded, and all registrants will receive the recording as well as the slide deck. We are asking that everyone remain muted unless you're speaking, obviously. We will hold all questions until the very end, when you'll have the opportunity to either write your question in the chat box or raise your hand and we'll call on you. So now, without further ado, I want to hand it over to Joanna and her team. Joanna?
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Let me pull up my presentation. Can everyone see this? Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today on promoting a culture of health among teens using data and action for impact. So my name is Joanna, and I work with our youth leaders, Camille and Amoha, and a number of other teens. These are both high school students who've been in the program for a number of years. And I work in the city manager's office in the city of Rancho Cucamonga and manage the youth program. Just to set the stage of where Rancho Cucamonga is, we're actually located in Southern California. We're in San Bernardino County, and we're about 40 miles east of Los Angeles. And a little bit of background of our city is we're about 42 square miles, and we have a population of 180,000 residents. And so the HealthyRC initiative is based out of the city manager's office, and our community is really interested in creating kind of like that culture of health. And back in 2008, this HealthyRC began to address rising chronic illnesses and health conditions. And so we created this city community partnership that takes a comprehensive approach to improving health outcomes for all residents. HealthyRC provides really the structure for community members to get engaged in creating strategies on health policy and programs with a focus on equity to address health disparities across neighborhoods. Through our strategic planning process, we had 1 in 5 residents share with us really like these priorities. And you can see they are, they encompass a holistic view of health and are beyond the traditional, definition of health. And here I want to show you is our organizational chart. It's based out of the city manager's office, but really the backbone and our basis is the community. And it's really to bring civic engagement and accessibility for every person, and to remove the barriers for engagement to ensure that we're no longer working in silos, but working together. And so you could see that the base is the priorities, and the tree's branches. You could see our steering committee, which is our health collaborative, and it's comprised of faith-based groups, public agencies, nonprofits, businesses, educators, residents, youth leaders, and our community champions program. We also include our city departments, and that allows for HealthyRC to really bring in all the diverse expertise to address complex community problems. And we think that engaging the community is a critical strategy in addressing health disparities, especially among disadvantaged communities. Our community participation enables the city to interact with and understand the community's needs and really reflect these in the delivery of our services. And so I have the pleasure today of speaking on about the Youth Leader Program, which was started to equip the next generation of leaders with the tools and the capacity to create meaningful change in the community. Youth Leaders gives an active, meaningful voice for teens addressing issues affecting them by working alongside city council and staff, and they work on health policies they care about. Students meet twice a month and receive training on public speaking, policy 101, critical thinking, team building, which is really important, and research skills to effectively create a difference in their city. Our program has 25 middle and high school teens who represent all walks of life from different schools, neighborhoods, backgrounds, and we recruit in August for the school year and open up applications to students who are passionate about improving their environment. We accept a broad range of students, those who are shy and reserved, and those who have the potential to grow, and many who have the passion for activating their teen voice. These teens work on amazing youth projects throughout the year, and they develop presentations to share to the community. And so I want to share with you this video. Let me see if I don't know. Can you hear the sound? No? Okay. Sorry about that. Let me stop sharing and make sure I click the sound. Share screen. There we go. Awesome. All right.
HealthyRC Youth Leaders is a program where a bunch of kids my age and younger get to work with city officials and kind of give our voice and our input on problems in the community, and it gives us a chance to make a change for those problems.
Establishing the youth in government program is really about reaching out to them, explaining to them that, it doesn't matter that you're in your first year participating in the process versus your 25th year. You can still have input into the process. You can still make a difference, and really letting them know that they are the future and that they don't have to wait to start shaping their community.
I like that the youth has an opinion or a voice in the city, because there's not a lot of programs or voluntary places where you have a voice. I really like that it's a city where you can really easily volunteer and help other people, and there's a lot of opportunities for young people like me.
Being a HealthyRC youth leader has helped me broadened my spectrum of leadership and public speaking. In school, it has helped me with ASB, whether it's getting in or fulfilling leadership positions such as like presidential roles, and also with my class presentations, with public speaking and just delivering myself with more confidence and more dedication to the work.
Well, HealthyRC youth leaders really helped me to learn how to navigate a government setting and work with city officials, and those are skills that I will take with me through the rest of my life.
They're going to go places that my generation and others never had the opportunity to go because they got started 15 or 20 years ahead of us. Probably the most inspirational part of it is hearing how they want to come back and make a difference in their community. That is just so impactful because we're going to bear the fruits of that work over the next 20 or 30 years.
My favorite policy that I've worked on as a HealthyRC youth leader has been the improvement of the smoking policy with e-cigarettes and including them to wherever you can't smoke, you can't e-cig. We have gone in front of City Council, given speeches about why it's unhealthy to our community, and also made a survey to educate the teens of our high schools that it's not okay.
One of the things that we do as youth leaders is work with younger children. Middle school students and high school students working together to make a difference in the city. They are showing such an interest in actually changing their community, and it's very refreshing that the upcoming generation is going to change the world for the better.
The impact that the Teen Summits have had on my life is that really just knowing that the community and society are doing something catering to the mental health awareness of teenagers, and so overall I just love the interactiveness of it and the community and knowing that they have these resources to go for, and it's just really an amazing experience for the youth to feel involved.
The Teen Summit has shown me that you can share your story, you can share what you're going through, and nobody will judge you, and they're all going to be there for helping you. I had to do poems, I had to share my story with other people, and I had to listen to other people's stories.
I personally have struggled with mental health a lot, and it has been hard to seek out help until the HealthyRC Youth Leader program, where I've just felt a part of this family, and I know I can go to them with anything.
Searching for help is not a bad thing, and also it's a good thing to grow as a person.
Really know how serious that mental health is and how big of an issue it is. So it is something that we need to destigmatize and we need to be talking about because it is so important, and it's children's lives and adults' lives on the line. I'm not just sad, it's something so much more, and we really need to help and prioritize it.
You know, I see the excitement and the energy and the enthusiasm that these youth bring to the table and how it infects in a positive way the elected leadership, the appointed leadership, because we know that together with them we're making a difference in the community, which is really why they and us are all in this.
I want to be in the medical field, in robotics, can help many people in so many different ways.
Get accepted into UCLA, hopefully study history and English education, and become a teacher or college professor.
I would like to be a judge and become involved with city politics and local politics, and then work my way up all the way to the President of the United States.
I'm going to pass it on to Amoha to share a little bit about her research project on mental health.
So thank you, Joanna. Hello, everybody. My name is Amoha, and I am a HealthyRC youth leader, as Joanna mentioned. And I have specifically worked on a mental health initiative for teens in my time with the program. I was particularly drawn to this topic for several reasons, primarily of which include my personal struggles with mental health, which then I also noticed within my peers to find the resources we need to get the proper mental health help. However, my biggest motivation to move forward with this research topic was the unfortunate loss of 4 students to suicide in our city in August of 2018. Our presentation, Closing the Gap on Teen Mental Health, addresses how to create a prominent and direct change to prevent any such future incident. So, first of all, we had to address what is mental health really. It is a combination of one's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act, and helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and even make choices. So therefore, mental health is quite important at every stage of our life, from childhood and adolescence all the way through adulthood. Furthermore, mental health is a spectrum. So people aren't always expected to be at the very top because there are many different things that play into these mindsets, including genetic makeup and upbringing, plus our life circumstances. Then further, states of positive mental health can be identified by feelings of being thriving, content, and fulfilled, and are achieved by following healthy living habits and seeking help to cope with unwanted thoughts. While states of negative mental health can be seen through symptoms of anxiety and depression, which may vary by person, but is typically accompanied by feelings of hopelessness, restlessness, guilt, irritability, and loss of interest in usually pleasurable activities. So what exactly contributes to this negative mental health? We identified 6 primary factors. First, family, be it trauma in the home or unstable family relationships and experiences. Moving on, academic pressures. With ever-mounting expectations for teens to do well in school and get successful careers, many get too stressed out and can turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms. Next is bullying, whether it be cyberbullying or in-person bullying. Now more than ever, teens face cyberbullying and public humiliation or shaming on a more widespread platform based on factors out of their control. Continuing on, economic issues. Stressors like financial burdens, homelessness, and unemployment can have a large impact on the teen population. And lastly, being a part of the LGBTQIA+ community. Because even though we live in a more progressive society today, people face discrimination based around their gender and sexual identity many times. And those who identify with this community don't always feel supported and accepted by their loved ones or acquaintances, which only leads to worse effects on their mental health. So after identifying a person's mental state, there are still many barriers that stand in the way of getting access to help that they need, such as societal stigma, language accessibility, cultural and religious beliefs, and family. The various values of people from differing backgrounds and the stigmatized subject itself can make it hard to discuss, much less seek help for mental health conditions, especially in teens. In recent findings by the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI, it was noted that 1 in 5 children between the ages of 13 to 18 are living with a mental health condition. Furthermore, about 50% of middle school students have reported being bullied, while 25% of high school students have admitted feeling sad or hopeless. The most concerning part about this data isn't even with the students, but rather with the parents and guardians. Did you know that only 1 in 4 parents is concerned with their child's mental health? Due to this, students have to resort to the internet or other misleading sources to seek help that they may need. Sadly, there are serious repercussions. In recent years, rates of attempted suicides have only been increasing, but as the graph suggests, only a small fraction of these people have actually been treated. In California alone, 17% of high school students have attempted, yet only 3% were treated by a medical professional. We then delved into our community specifically through surveys to see how national statistics translated to us, and saw that 1 in 3 teens in our focus group of Rancho Cucamonga residents have attempted to harm themselves. Additionally, over half of the same teens reported to have never utilized the city's resources, either from fear of stigma surrounding mental health or simply not knowing they were even available. We took a further step back and mapped out rates of suicidal thoughts and reached the consensus that mental health does not discriminate based on zip code. And regardless of the problems people were facing, we needed to do better in getting them the necessary resources catered to their individual needs. This is when we began developing our strategies to help the affected teen population of our city. Firstly, we created the postcard you see here with a compilation of the best help resources for teens experiencing mental health conditions that are available for free online, which removes some of the greatest barriers to access for help. We also developed the idea for and then shot a video addressing cultural stigma, particularly towards men in Hispanic communities, which we entered in the Directing Change competition. So we would like to show you this year's entry right now.
Peleo como un hombre, camina como un hombre, habla como un hombre, golpea como un hombre. Cuando me caigo no puedo verme débil, no puedo enseñar mis emociones. Los hombres no lloran. Incluso cuando se ríen, tengo que permanecer fuerte. Aunque lo que realmente siento es depresión, solo, inseguro, negativo, débil. Hablar de mis emociones es encontrar de cómo fui criado. Es hora de quitar mis guantes sobre la salud mental y enseñar mis emociones. Está bien ser valiente, vulnerable, esperanzado, positivo, abierto, confiado. Es hora de buscar apoyo y pedir ayuda. No estoy solo. Todo lo que se necesita es un paso. Llame 1-800-273-8255.
So moving on, another amazing event that our city has hosted for the past 2 years is the RC Teen Summit, which consists of guest speakers sharing their stories of struggles to success, bonding activities to learn positive coping reinforcements, and on-site therapists. Unfortunately, since the pandemic restricted activity this year, we tailored mental health support for teens virtually. Youth leaders partnered with therapists and hosted virtual check-in events. The first addressed hot topic issues like expressing emotions through different outlets, creating and fostering healthy relationships, facing big transitions due to COVID or otherwise, and allowing a safe space for teens to talk about race. Our second ongoing series delves into another prevalent issue that we found quite pressing at the moment, and thus the teen safety workshops were formed to help make sure that teens learn self-defense and don't get manipulated into dangerous situations online or in person. Finally, I just want to say that mental health has been an overlooked matter in society because of the stigma that surrounds it. And unfortunately, if people aren't careful and disregard it, there can be dire consequences. The reality of mental health is that although oftentimes it is the individual struggles that we face, the best way to overcome the obstacles of society is to work together and use ever-expanding technology to connect with larger audiences. The Youth Leaders Program is so special to me because it gave me this platform to voice my opinions and get to design, conduct, and even lead on topics that I'm passionate about. And together with Joanna and our other youth leaders, we get to create such a huge and direct impact on a wide variety of serious matters citywide. So thank you everyone for your time, and I would like to now pass it on to Camille.
Thank you, Moha. That was great. Hi, everyone. My name is Camille Santos, and I am a member of the Vape Policy Group in the Rancho Cucamonga's Youth Leader Program. And this year, I had the opportunity to work on and lead a project revolving around vaping within the youth. And the topic of e-cigarettes and vape policy really intrigued me because it's a big part of youth culture within our generation. It's not uncommon for me to walk around my school and see or hear about people vaping or see it on social media, and I felt it was important for me to take on this topic for my project to spread awareness to kids my age. So with that said, here's my presentation on vaping and its effects on the youth. So what is an e-cigarette? It's a device with liquid nicotine that is vaporized and inhaled. So some popular brands within the youth include Juuls, which are USB shaped, and Puff Bars that are known for a variety of flavors. Nicotine is an extremely harmful chemical present in items like tobacco containing over 42 harmful chemicals. And these vape products can come in many different flavors like cotton candy or bubblegum, for example, and they're specifically targeted to a teen audience, which is why it is so important that they are regulated. So, how many teens are affected by e-cigarettes and vapes in Rancho Cucamonga? So the youth leaders conducted a survey of middle and high school teens to find out. And of the 1,238 surveyed teens, 16% has said that they have tried an e-cigarette or vape product. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but it is a big number for teens that shouldn't even be accessing vapes because anyone under the age of 21 shouldn't be allowed to purchase the product. So as you can see, teens try vaping for a variety of reasons. 54% of teens tried out of curiosity, 44% said they tried because of the appealing flavors, and 32% said that peer pressure definitely played a factor. So smoking is not only a public health issue, but an equity issue. Let's take a look at child poverty rates in our community, and there are clear differences in poverty rates among children across neighborhoods. Notice the darker blue areas representing the higher child poverty rates,
So keep this in mind once we delve into where the vape shops are located in our city. So shown here is a map of the schools in relation to vape shops in the city. As you can see, the vape shops are shown in dark blue, where the light blue areas indicate the schools. And you can see that they are all located in southwest Rancho Cucamonga. So here, this map shows which Rancho Cucamonga school districts are affected most by these vape shops. Clearly, you can see that there are more vape shops in neighborhoods with schools that have higher amounts of children living in poverty, and these kids are disproportionately affected. So there are 2 school districts that are more affected than others. So imagine on the student's way to school, there's a chance that they will be in view of a vape shop. This will influence youth because it is normalized in their neighborhood and they are becoming more and more desensitized. This is important because according to a 2019 study in the American Journal of Pediatrics, adolescents exposed to e-cigarette ads in retail stores are twice as likely to start vaping within several years. So we were interested in seeing if a student saw any vape shops on their way to school. So here in purple, you can see a 10-minute walking distance from schools. There's actually a vape shop right next door to an elementary school. So as of now, Rancho has proudly shown that they strongly discourage smoking. We also have a smoke-free RC policy, and this policy has banned smoking at city-owned property since 2008. And in 2016, the HealthyRC youth leaders revised the policy to include e-cigarettes in the ban. So what can Rancho do now? These are our recommendations for the city. We could implement buffer zones around schools for 500 to 1,000 feet for any future vape shops. They can't open around the schools. And then we also wanted to launch anti-vaping campaigns. And lastly, the buffer zone policy could help inform the city's general plan update, and it will create an environment that's safe for the youth and the greater community. So now this map shows 500-foot and 1,000-foot buffer zones around schools. So these zones would help protect children from accessing vape shops on their route to and from school by preventing them from opening up in these areas. So now this map showcases the same information as the previous maps, but now it shows the area around the school within a 10-minute walk. And the buffer zones don't cover all of it, but covers most of the area. So keep in mind that these buffer zones would help prevent future vaping and smoke shops from opening here. So we're currently working on drafting this policy with our planning department to take it to the Planning Commission and then to the City Council in the coming months. However, from our exploratory meeting with the City Council, we were excited to hear that many of our council members actually supported our youth strategies on vape policies. So we already launched an anti-vaping campaign alongside the policy recommendation by distributing the materials to schools in the city and posting it on social media. So here's an example of our flyers and stickers. This specific example appeals to the idea of flavors in e-cigarettes and how it hooks teens. So for me, the most meaningful aspect of working on this project was being able to present our project to City Council and working to pass the policy. It's been a very interesting and fruitful experience learning about the inner workings of trying to pass a policy, and I am very thankful for the opportunity that HealthyRC Youth Leaders has given me to make a change for teens in my community. So thank you for your time, and I'll hand it back over to Joanna.
Unmute. Thank you for admitting me. So I want to share some of the projects, lessons learned from our research projects. And so I want to just share with you that we couldn't do it alone. We really partnered with organizations and departments to be guest speakers, and we even did field trips so that the teens could really understand their issue and be able to strategize what are those solutions. And we really made it fun, creative, and rewarding. And the students themselves were able to identify a research lead, or so that they could build those team management experiences and team building experiences, and that really fostered growth and passion among the teens. And they were able to share this presentation in with multiple audience throughout the community, so it gave them that public speaking confidence opportunity. And even with the pandemic, we really embraced technology tools by using story maps, which is free and available for anyone to use, and we were able to really utilize Zoom to do those virtual check-ins. And so it was really great that we were able to adapt through the pandemic. And then if you want to start a youth leader program, we really just want to open up and say, like, you just got to build trust with the teens. You listen to what they care about, and then you act on what they really want to do. And so you bring them along in the process. We really leaned on our schools and partner organizations, and we leaned on the schools so we could recruit teens. And then of course, giving teens recognition and like giving them the support that they need. And in fact, the youth leaders are involved in the youth selection process for the new cohort. And so they're even involved in choosing who's the next, cohort of youth leaders. And so with that, I just want to say thank you for listening to us. And we hope that, this presentation inspires action in your community and your leadership teams. And you can follow us on social media. We have a youth leader Instagram page and website and everything. So thank you for your time and have a good day.
Thank you so much, Joanna and team. That was great. We do have a couple of questions that have come through the chat, but as I mentioned, we want to save those for the very end, and we'll do that after Danville joins us to speak. I'm now going to hand it over to Shani Gaylord and the team with the Youth Health Equity Leadership Institute in Danville, Virginia. Shani?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Danville family and nationwide All-America Cities family. We will start with a video.
To see the loss of our tobacco industries, our textile industries, and to see how Danville is repositioning itself. We never give up on it. We never gave up on Danville.
There are people here that dedicated their entire life to this work and continue to.
Anybody that I know that has come from the outside has seen what we've been able to accomplish in the city. They're all pretty astounded.
Danville is such a special place to live because if we have an idea, we do it together.
And that's why Danville is home. To see the
thank you so much for watching that video about where we're from here in Danville, Virginia. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Shani Gaylord. I'm currently the Director of Community Programs at Piedmont Access to Health Services, and I am the former Program Manager. Thank you all for being in this space so we can learn from one another.
Hi, I'm Ziana Barton, and we are honored to share with you all about building a culture of healthy and engaged youth leaders. And I am especially excited because I am one. I am also a YHELI graduate class of 2020 and I attend ODU.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jasmine Smith. Currently, I serve as the Executive Administrator for the Office of Health Equity within the Virginia Department of Health. To begin, the initiative began in 2015 when the Virginia Department of Health Office of Health Equity submitted a proposal with a focus on improving the public's health by addressing racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic disparities in educational attainment through effective public health practice models. This led to us envisioning the Danville Youth Health Equity Leadership Institute. YHELI is a solution to the problem of on-time graduation rates by helping our youth find their passion at an early age. By giving youth exposure to career and leadership opportunities in Danville, they become authentically engaged and invested in our community, which equals success in and out of school. In 2016, Danville had one of the lowest on-time graduation rates in the state. And because we know that education can be a strong predictor of health, it was essential that we address this trend, and we succeeded. On this slide, as well as future slides, you will see photos of us in action such as hiking, meditating, hosting our annual talent showcase, on trips, volunteering, and much more. Next slide, please.
Each session consists of the following components in the order of how they're done. We start with a 30-second check-in to just share how you feel or just a moment of silence. Then we have real talk where we talk about real world issues and use our critical thinking skills on what could have been different, how, would you handle it? Then we have our module activities. We always have an evaluation piece, and then we have a motto that we say all the time, which is, we are confident, we are strong, we are leaders, we are YHELI. We recognize the power of words, especially to encourage oneself. So we always say our motto anytime and every time we get together. It should be noted that each session is so flexible and well prepared, it can be done in and out the classroom. These pictures you see on the screen are from our Washington, D.C. trip to Howard University and visiting the monuments, where we did just that. We had sessions on the bus and in restaurants. The picture on the right is particularly notable because during our 10 hours riding the bus, students eagerly participated in YHELI activities, games, and discussions.
Oh my goodness. YHELI is open and inclusive to all students and anyone can join. We are constantly told that, and they show us that there is potential in all of us, which empowers us to become our best selves. We are constantly introduced to people who listen to what we are interested in learning about, including guest speakers, professional and career days, and through volunteering and job shadowing opportunities. We even serve as youth representative at board meetings and present at conferences. It's not just about being book smart or good on a resume, but being a true leader and recognizing the different strengths each of us have. Next slide, please.
And we have another video for you guys.
YHELI is like a family to me. It's a safe place. You know, we go out and we help people.
Because I know how it is to like go without. So it's nice to give back to somebody that doesn't have something right then and there.
It's a very supportive family to me, especially emotionally, mentally, and also physically. I feel like without YHELI, I wouldn't be where I am today. I probably wouldn't be going to Virginia Tech, but it's helped me to branch out and become who I am.
And that's why Danville is home.
And as we continue, I just want to shout out Ziana for being here, because most of our YHELI leaders you see on the screen are at school, but she kindly gave up her time to be here with us. So I'm so grateful that she's here. And we'll continue on. Our curriculum includes health promotion, education, leadership skills, and critical thinking skills to address the barriers to education and develop healthy and engaged leaders. We address all the topics you see on your screen, but our youth leaders, like she actually leads all the activities and facilitates our discussions. Students also create vision boards to make a connection to the importance of education and identifying paths to achieve their life goals. We empower them daily and activate them daily to be active participants in creating the life they desire.
We established the Danville YHELI Advisory Committee with members representing multi-sector community partners, including Danville Public Schools, parents, and most importantly, our students. This committee has played a key role in advocating for the sustainability of the Danville YHELI beyond the grant funding period, as well as breaking silos and bridging gaps between people and organizations in our community to work toward a common goal. An important action item we established that we encourage you all to do as well is to include all events, meetings, trainings, volunteer opportunities, and any additional opportunities that we hear about from our partners in our emails. Having our own advisory committee is great, but also participating in partner committees, meetings, and community events is crucial to building collaboration and being visible. All of our hard work makes it special when we win awards, such as the Health Collaborative's Best in Health Award, as shown on the presentation. Another action item is to include students in meetings. We receive so much positive feedback from organizations that have invited our student leaders because their perspective is eye-opening and also needed. You'll also see our logo is on everything that we brand, everything, because brand recognition is an excellent marketing strategy. Next slide, please.
Because of our role as a trusted resource in our community, we were selected to distribute food to at-risk and underserved families in need during the coronavirus, which was a huge honor. Feeding Southwest Virginia kindly provided 540 boxes of non-perishables, enough to feed a family of 4 for 3 to 5 days, which is about 25,920 meals. Delivery partners included the Danville Police Department and Danville Fire Department, who personally delivered on their fire trucks.
As you can see in these photos, we personally served on assembly lines all day, loading and unloading trucks of boxes, which were each about 25 pounds, to organizations including the Boys and Girls Club. Even with so much work, my YHELI peers were still all smiles and one shared in the newspaper. I'm glad we could get out of the house for something fun and helpful to our community, especially to uplift and represent for our class of 2020, to not be sad about how the coronavirus has affected things we were looking forward to. I love YHELI because we get to know each other and our community better, but we especially get to know ourselves better. My confidence definitely increased, and Yeli taught me to share what I learned with those in need and those younger than me. So I will continue to give back. We even volunteered for our graduation celebration. As an expansion of Hoop Don't Shoot and the church-based tutorial program where we served as tutors and mentors. We celebrated by having a safe, fun event where we provided coronavirus essentials, resources, and motivational speeches. Over 200 backpacks filled with first aid kits, hygiene products, school supplies, t-shirts, and home goods were distributed in a socially distanced manner.
This slide shows a few of the many quotes of positive feedback that we often receive about the students being so engaged. Knowing each student's history, having little to no support, or even goals, this means a lot to our team. For example, a Danville YHELI student shared on a survey additional comment section that because of the Danville YHELI, I feel I can help others by being a mentor. Another student shared, because of the Danville YHELI, I know I can graduate high school and become someone. And I learned to use YHELI's tools and strategies to think about consequences to all of my actions. I can overcome barriers in the community to achieve all of my goals. I was also surprised and delighted by the particular feedback we received that the Danville YHELI should meet longer and more often than 2 times per week. Next slide, please.
Just as important as the terrific progress we're making is documenting the impact and tell our story. With the goal of 50 participants initially written in the grant proposal, 66 students participated in year 1, and the number increased every year. Such progress has resulted in an overwhelming amount of positive reports about progress students have made because of their participation in YHELI. These pictures reflect growth and community recognition in the media, including starting a peer mentoring and tutoring program, volunteering at Heart Walks, and what's super exciting for us was being featured in Danville's application for the National Civic League's All-America City Award. We're so honored and thankful to you all that we won. Next steps include the development of a final report to include all the outcomes and results. Oh, we also want to shout out Fit Mobile and community health workers who are part of the award with us.
Evaluation measures, specifically measurable outcomes, are also very important in documenting the Danville YHELI success. 145 students have participated overall, and notably, of the 68 YHELI seniors who participated in the program 2019 to 2020 academic year, 67 graduated on time, which is a 99% graduation rate. And of those that participated all 4 years, the graduation rate was 100%. For youth in our community that have burdens such as poverty, trauma, or family instability, YHELI makes sure no one falls through the cracks. YHELI also invests in and cares for youth as a whole person, addressing everything from housing to food and coping mechanisms to help build resiliency. And as you can see from the data, it has and will continue to pay off by creating healthy and engaged young leaders of our community.
Thank you so much for your time and attention. We have thoroughly enjoyed you all. Please feel free to contact us anytime, and let's continue to build a culture of healthy and engaged youth leaders because they're our future. Feel free to repeat after us, because I said we do it every time. We are confident. We are confident. We are strong.
We are strong.
We are leaders.
We are leaders.
We are yelling. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Danville YHELI. Appreciate that wonderful presentation and for you sharing about your great work. I want to encourage everyone now. We are going to use this time to take some Q&A. So please, if you have any questions, either type them in the chat, as some of you have already done, or you can use the raise hand feature and we will call on you that way and allow you to unmute yourselves. For now, I do have a question that came through the chat, and I'll just ask both programs to answer this. The question is how you identify the youth leadership participants and what the application and onboarding process is like. So Joanna, I'll actually throw that one over to you first.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for the question. So we actually open up applications and we open it to all youth participants or residents. And we had an online application. So basically it goes through some like critical thinking questions, and we really invite everyone who applies to a panel interview. And that's like really, really great experience for youth, especially because it builds those skills. And we bring in youth from the previous cohort to be a part of the panel. And the questions we ask are, what are your passions? What are the problems you see in your community? What are some solutions do you think that will help that? And then we basically, determine like who's applying to this program and really wants to make a difference. And we really look at those who would benefit the most from the program. So, not your traditional like, ASB student. We look at all factors, and so because it's definitely we basically ask those questions, and that's how we select our youth.
Great, thank you so much for that. And Johnny, how about you all over at the YHELI program?
I'm actually going to put Zion on the spot. I'm just curious. How did you sign up? I'm really curious, actually.
Basically, it was just like 2 sheets of paperwork that we like basically had to write out our name, because we meet after school, so we have to have paperwork to meet after school, and we also have buses, so we had to fill out that. And then basically all we did was like, once you filled it out and you turned it in, you come, you participate, and that's basically the only thing that we needed to do.
And I shared that to say a lot of organizations have like an application process, and it's totally nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, say a student is autistic or they don't have the best GPA, we don't turn anybody away. It's you come as you are, and if you do have something that you like to improve on, we help with that. So our application is literally show up. Sometimes students, you'll notice Yana has a jacket on. I like that jacket. Where'd you get that jacket? Because some people do struggle with clothes, right? So that's our marketing strategies. Get people who really need the help. So our application is come, sign up, you're part of it. And then, people do, the retention rate's really high. Once you come, you're getting everything you need. So we just continue on like that. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. I love that you guys make it accessible and open to everyone. That's great. And Joanna, this question is coming in for you specifically about your collaboration with City Council and how a lot of people will have youth leadership councils as part of their formal government. How is Rancho Cucamonga different? How have you all strengthened that relationship and made it to where your youth leaders are accessible to the council, and the council sort of listens and acts on their recommendations?
Thank you for that question. So our council and our youth leaders really get to know each other, and they do meetings. We do, like I said, Policy 101, and they get to learn kind of like their background and the history of like because it's their first time even knowing what city government, what's their role. And so we provide kind of like that meet and greet, and then from there, the teens prepare for their research projects, and they're able to present and have this dialogue with the council, and they're able to add to their solutions and ask questions. And it's really beneficial for the teens because they get that confidence boost of saying, hey, like this council member really supports what my idea, which was something I thought about with my peers, and they feel like they're really working together in the process, and overall they're engaged, and then they really kind of even recommend teens to join. So yeah.
Great, thank you for that. All right, this question is actually here for the youth on the call. My question is, how do you feel like this program, sort of YHELI and RC youth leaders, whichever one you're part of, how has it engaged you in a way that previous sort of adult efforts to engage you, what made this successful and other attempts unsuccessful? So how has this, program engaged you in a way that makes you excited to participate? And whoever wants to go first, just jump right in.
I can go ahead and take this first. So for HealthyRC youth leaders, one of the biggest things for me starting off was we were invited to the steering committee meetings and subcommittee meetings where we get to directly talk to adults. And oftentimes they'll ask for our input specifically. So even when we just kind of voice our opinions, and then afterwards people will sometimes contact you and be like, oh, I really liked what you talked about, and oh, this idea was really good, maybe we can develop on it. Here are some partners I have that maybe you can connect with. So really having that sort of bond with other adults that are actually interested in what our passions are too, and really highlighting those, was really the most engaging thing for me, honestly. And it really just helped create that bond where I felt comfortable enough to go also present to other people, which again builds my presentation skills, public speaking skills. And also Joanna would also give us I guess monthly kind of lessons on how to conduct research, create these different presentations through websites like Esri Story Maps, and then Canva to create posters and campaign ideas. So those really helped in the whole process, I would say.
Great, thank you so much. I feel like that's such a key lesson for those in leadership positions, is that it's one thing to ask for ideas and feedback, and it's quite another to follow up on those and to actually act on that. So thank you for lifting that up. How about Camille and Ziana? Do you guys have anything to add to that?
I just want to say, working with youth leaders as opposed to working with just adults and you're the only youth, I think it's really easy. You get more engaged because working with people your age, you're more comfortable, and as you guys are both learning new stuff, everyone's learning new stuff, everyone's working together to get to this common goal, and it's not you don't feel alone, you feel like you're in a family, especially it's easier to bond, and it really helps with what do you call it, more keeping staying engaged, and it really, because everyone's here to support each other, and it really motivates you to make a change. So yeah.
Great. I imagine having other youth there involved with you makes it a little less intimidating too. You're not the token youth there to sort of represent all youth voice. You have a more diverse perspective as well.
Yes, of course.
But Yeli, they kind of made it fun. They made it to where we could have fun and talk about serious things at the same time. So it was just and it was also a positive environment. You couldn't say anything negative or anything like that. It was just fun and positive. We could just feel comfortable.
That's great. It's so important to keep an opening and welcoming and fun environment. Thank you for that. All right, and this question comes from the chat, and it's about how, if any, the program addresses and looks into the root causes that lead to policies that put a lot of burden on the BIPOC community. Examples that might include the location of all of the vaping stores that were zoned without resistance. Do participants begin to sort of lead into that broader policy issue, what we're seeing more and more protests about sort of systemic racism? Have your programs dealt with that, leaned into that issue at all?
Thank you for that question. So HealthyRC started back in 2008, and really the premise of HealthyRC was to really focus on the changing environment and health. Unfortunately, Rancho Cucamonga, there were some neighborhoods that were kind of left behind in development. So this was definitely a thing that the city council and staff, so for the next 10 years or 12 years, they actually did a lot of health in all policies, and we actually were able to bring in a lot of resources specifically around like safe routes to school, bringing in sidewalks, changing infrastructure. Because we had engineering and planning on board, we were able to really, from this, you know, be able to address more of the things that policy, you know, things that were just left behind. And so now that the youth leaders are looking into this vape policy issue, it's definitely a concern for our city council, and it's kind of like a reminder, like, you know, these health and all policies, we need to always have a clear lens in equity, and so I think it's definitely a focus in our community since the beginning.
Great to know that it kind of was actually spurred from that disparity. Very interesting. How about Danville? Do you guys have any comments on this question?
Yes, ma'am. The program actually stems from Virginia Department of Health, Office of Health Equity. So, you know, that's what all of our data is definitely in that realm. And I always mention, like, the real talks that we do. We talk about the real actual data of what's going on and tell us how you feel and tell us what you want to do. And I've been so proud of the response, because some of them, like, said, real talk conversations. But being a part of Danville, we also have the health and all policies, and we're meeting similar to that. It's beautiful to have like someone like Ziana invited to that, to give real conversation to what we're actually going to do. So it's been awesome to be a part of that conversation. And it's like real things that teenagers do. There has been instances, you know, where there's been conversations about, you know, the sit-ins or what, you know, things that teenagers do. So it's been beautiful to see like the professionalism of doing things the right way. So not just, you know, just being upset, but what can we do to change this? You know, let's channel this feeling that we're feeling. So definitely very important conversations. And I'm really proud of the professional way that they're doing stuff here.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again so much, everyone, for joining us. We are at the end of our time here together, but I want to thank all of the participants who joined us. As a reminder, we will be sending a follow-up email. That email will include a recording, the slides you saw today, as well as any additional websites or information resources that we have. I'll also include a link to the application for the 2021 All-America City Awards in case anyone was inspired to apply for 2021. And I just want to give a special shout out to Shani and Joanna for sort of leading the charge for your respective programs. You all are wonderful leaders for your youth to look up to. And then of course, a shout out to Ziana, Camille, Amoha, and Jasmine. There is a lot of negativity in this world right now, but hearing from all of you makes me very hopeful for what the future holds. Go out there and continue to go get them. You all are doing really great work, and I appreciate your interest in becoming a leader in your community. And so with that, I just hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day, and please join us for our future monthly webinar series. Thank you, everyone.